Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for interested in KTC KRUNGTHAI card. Today, my name is Apisma Nasongkha. I'm going to present you the first quarter of the year 2020. And we have Khun Chuti here, our CFO. And we're going to answer all of your questions later on after the presentation. So we start with the presentation first. To go quickly on the first quarter of 2020, we have the portfolio growth of around 9.2%, and credit card and personal loan are our two major business. Credit card growing around 7.7% and personal loan 11.8%. The credit card spending growing quite nicely for the first 2 months, and then in March, as you already know, that COVID-19 hit all over the world, and the card spending dropped in March. So altogether for the first quarter is growth only 2.2%. And the NPL under the IFRS 9 reporting at 4%. The cost of fund, mainly we control the cost of fund to be at the level of 2.9%. And the net profit growing at 3.2%. That's kind of like the wrap up on the performance for the first year. If we look into the detail, that we can start with the shareholder structure. KTB KRUNGTHAI Bank is the major shareholder of 49% roughly, and the rest of the name you can see a lot of individual names. They are silent shareholders, not related to KTB or KTC, and not in the board seat. We have the 8 members of the board, and KRUNGTHAI Bank sent 2 of the representatives to sit on the board of directors, so they involved in the board level only, not the everyday running the business. On the business side, as I already said, we have 2 products, mainly credit card and personal loan. Both business, we need a license from the Bank of Thailand, then there are different rules and regulations, which I can touch on this later on. Credit card is the majority of the portfolio, is around like 64%, and personal loan is about 36%. Personal loan generate higher yield than credit card, generate about like 42% of the total revenue, and credit card is roughly around nearly 60% of the total revenue. And as I said, we need the license from the Bank of Thailand, and Bank of Thailand have the rules and regulation differently from both credit card and personal loan. Mainly is the interest rate for credit card. The maximum is 18%, and personal loan maximum interest rate we can charge is 28%. There are also different credit line that we can give to our customer, as you've seen on the presentation. We also go on another 2 business to complete our consumer finance products. The first one is Nano Finance, is the loan that we can give to individuals for the business related purpose only. And when we talk about business, you're not talking about the small, medium or large size of loan. You're talking about the maximum only 100,000 baht in terms of the maximum loan we can give. So it's for small business like mom and pop stores or individual selling things online or whatever, but they need to prove that they're doing some kind of business to be eligible to apply for the loan. For the Pico Finance is loan for the individual as well, but for the Pico Finance, mainly they want to, both Nano and Pico, the Bank of Thailand want to replace the black market in Thailand, so that's why it's go for kind of like individual that have the low income customer. And we can give them maximum credit line of 100,000 as well. For the Pico Finance is the provincial license. So if we want to open the business in each province, you need to apply for each license in the provinces. We can charge maximum of 36% for the first 50K that we give out the loan. The later part, we can charge off 28%. That's for the Nano and Pico. This one we got the license on the year 2019, and we just started the product, and it's just on the kind of like testing the model, things like that. So we're not running in full time of the Nano and Pico Finance. So the portfolio is very, very small compared to the credit card and personal loan. So we still focus on the credit card and personal loan at this moment. On the penetration rate, if you look into the private consumption expenditure, you can see that people in Thailand, they settlement with the credit card only about 20%, 22% to be exact. And out of that they present with the settlement with the card it means that the rest is mostly is cash. So Thailand is still the cash-based society. And with the number of the 22% is still very low when you compare to other countries, with this like developing country, you're talking about like 60% that they settlement by the card. So we still have more room to grow and people changing behavior, especially a lot of people work from home, stay home, they order things online. So that promote the opportunity for us to expand for the credit card spending. And in the next slide that you're gonna see, the next 3 slides is talking about the credit card business. We talk about the number of cards, we talk about spending and receivables because the BOT collect all those numbers. And then so we can compare and get the market share, but we don't know the ranking. So on the market share on the number of cards, we have the share of 10.8%. KTB is one of the major distribution channel for us, is bring in the application around nearly 40% roughly. And the growth for the number of cards is 10.4%, as you can see on the presentation. And we have the card around like 2.6 million cards. And out of that 10.8% market share on number of cards, we have the spending market share of 11.5%, which means people use more on our card compared to the industry. And you can see from the growth numbers that people using our card more. With the 2019, you can see that we grow about 10.6% in terms of the spending on credit card. And the average of the industry is 9%. And for the first quarter, as I already said, it's dropped because of the COVID-19. The industry dropped like minus 0.7%, while we can manage to grow up 2.2% on the credit card spending. And this one talking about the credit card portfolio or the receivables, our market share is 13.2%. And we grow the portfolio of 7.7% for the first quarter, and the industry growing at 2.2%. In terms of the portfolio quality, the NPL is reporting at 3.45%. You see the difference in the year 2019 and the first quarter 2020. That's because it changed in terms of the presenting the NPL under the IFRS 9. On personal loan, we have the number of account drop, if you see from the presentation, is minus 6%. That's because last year we purged a lot of inactive card out of the portfolio. So the inactive mean they never to use our card or anything. So that's why we purge all the inactive card out, and that's why you can see the number of the account minus. Okay. KTB also the major channel again to bring in the new application for us. People, our customer can go to the KTB, or anyone that interested in the card and loan of KTC can go to any of the KTB branches and asking for the card and loan and apply there. On the portfolio quality, you can see that the market share, we have the market share of 5%. And growth, if you look into the presentation, you can see the growth spike in the year 2019 on the industry numbers. That's because BOT extend the license of personal loan to include the car title deed loan. And so they just include all the portfolio of the car title deed loan into the personal loan. That's why the numbers spike. This one talking about the balance sheet, the funding that we have. You can see that we have the asset of about like 80 billion, and out of that, the borrowing portfolio is about 52 billion. And mostly is debenture, the bond that we issue. We issue all the bonds in Thai baht only, and mostly it's a long-term bond. If you look into the average duration, you can see that it's around 4 years. We issue 2 years up to 10 years, and there are a lot in 10 years bond that we issue. So the maturity profile, which showing in the presentation as well, you can see that mostly we have the mature bond around like 6 to 8 billion per year. And the credit line that we have around 30 billion in terms of the credit available from every banks. And KTB that give us the credit line of 18 billion, all included in the 30 billion. So the rest is about like from other banks. So liquidity risk is not the concerns for us. Since we issue a lot of long-term bonds, we can control the cost of funding to be roughly around the 2.9%, and it should be like that for a couple of years. They have the rating of A+ by TRIS. And the DE ratio covenants on all the bonds that we issue said not more than 10 times. Currently is only 2.7, so it's quite low. And this one is the P&L, and this one talking about the key financial ratio. And on the key financial ratio, I want to point out that if anything that related to interest income, you won't get the same number as showing on the presentation because we are non-bank. So anything that related to interest income, for example, credit card, we charge at 18, personal loan, we can charge maximum at 28. On the accounting book, we can book under the accounting income is only 15%. So the rest go to the credit usage and it's go under fee income. So if you look into the financial statement alone, you're going to see fee income quite large and the interest income is lower than it used to be. So we have the MD&A, which we release every quarter along with the financial statement. And in the MD&A, we explain how much is the real interest and how much is the fee, because actually the fee is only like 20% out of the total revenue. And then you're going to get the same number on the average interest received or the net interest margin, right? And in here, we already point out the cost to income ratio and operating cost to income ratio. The difference mainly is the marketing, because the marketing depends on the company that how much we want to use. On the cost to income ratio, that's including the marketing expense, is about like 34%. And the operating cost to income ratio, which is the pure operating, is basically about 25%. And RE is about 32%. And ROE is about 8%. Dividend, we pay at least 40% of the net profit. And then a question that a lot of people ask is about the BOT guideline to help a customer on the in the COVID situation. And basically is lower the minimum payment. It used to be 10%, now it's lower to 5% in the year 2020 and 2021, and it's going to go back to 8% in the year 2022, and then back to the normal of 10% in the year 2023. That's the benefit across the board for all the customer and for every bank that doing the lower the minimum payment. And also if they qualify, the customer can apply for the kind of like refinancing their debt for the longer term and with the lower interest rate. And that's both for credit card and personal loan. They're having the help program like that. And so we're doing according to the BOT as well on the personal loan and credit cards. We extend the loan to be the longer of 48 months, and the interest on credit cards is 12%, and personal loan interest is 22%. So that roughly about that's the presentation. So we can go for the question and answer. They already have questions coming in. May I ask about your strategy to encourage your customer use KTC on online shopping during the lockdown?
Well, I think without any encouragement, they only can shop online, because during the lockdown, especially in the month of April, all of the shops are closed, and the grocery also with a limited opening time. So we see online shopping increasing, and yes, we we put up more effort on increasing the online shopping. We have been promoting our grocery shops partner and into online like Shopee or Lazada or any other e-commerces. We actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the Shopees and Lazada shopping code. We give out a lot of shopping code for discount during the lockdown. So I think the major route for all the customer to shop besides going to the grocery shop is towards online. So most of our marketing efforts go into online as well. And the
second one said, how is credit card spending in the first half of the 2020, and is it better than last year on year? And then your outlook for the second half.
Well, like we discussed in the presentation, during the first 2 months, the spending is still very good. For the month of Jan and February, we almost get to the growth we did last year. But spending deteriorating during the month of March when they started to close down, especially towards the end of the month when the curfew is imposed. And especially when it's come to April, when the country is in total lockdown, we saw the spending growth drop to minus 40% in April. But when in May the government started to reopen segment by segment, we see spending coming up quite nicely. So the spending growth in May is a lot better than in April. So we do believe that the more opening, the more spending will come back. So that's depend on how gradually when everything can open as usual. It would probably be a bit difficult to make any forecast at this time. So we probably ask you to wait a bit until we pass the month of June and see how the government gradually open the economy. We probably have a better view towards the end of the year.
And they asked then how you support customers who are affected by the widespread COVID-19 virus outbreak.
I think we already discussed that, right? On the first 2-3 slides. After last, maybe you can cover on that.
Mm-hmm. This one that we're talking about, that we help the customer. We lower the minimum payment as is the BOT asking for, and then we allow people to apply for the lower interest rate as we discussed about it. So the next question, how many cancellation of card holdings during current situations?
Cancellations. We don't see any alarming cancellation on the site that the customer voluntarily asked to cancel the card. But rather, when the NPL climb up, we close more cards. I think it is the other way around, rather.
The next one, how about the OPEX?
How about the OPEX? During the second quarter, we spend less on promotion because most of the businesses are closed. You don't have to promote any travel package. You do not promote any hospitality hotel business. In dining, you can only promote to go part of it, and the rest are into the online shopping. So I think we spend a lot less on that side because most of the shops are closed. Then on the new acquisition of the new card as well, because face-to-face activities cannot be done. So acquisition of the new card has become very less in the month of April and into the month of May as well. So we expect that the commission paid to the outsource or even to KRUNGTHAI banks will be less as well. Saying so, by having less spending on credit card and less growth in personal loan, that's also mean the revenue will become lesser than the usual quarter as well.
Yeah. How about the bad debt recovery this year?
Bad debt recovery is really a tough one. We have been putting more and more effort to trying to recover the best we can, but so far the best has not been better than last year. But I think even on par of what we did last year is probably good enough for this year as well.
Okay, and last one for now is how much KTC loan loss coverage be according to the TFRS 9?
Oh, that's a tough one. We used to guide our investor during the first quarter. That's towards the year without any effect of COVID-19. This is before that. We expect the whole year coverage ratio will be around 9 to 11% at the year end. But with the COVID-19, it might go up a little bit. We would give you a new guideline maybe after June or when you see second quarter result. We probably can see things more clearly then.
Okay, and I think that's it. That's all the questions we get. Are there any more questions? We still have some time, but number 9. It's asked that what are your expectations on new NPL formation or default rate for this year?
Well, like I said, there was a good number of new NPL formation in April. It has fallen down and come into May, and I think at the moment, what I can say is all the new NPL coming into April are now manageable. We think we can manage it and we can handle that amount within our balance sheet in this year. But whether or not in the third and fourth quarter will be a second wave of the new NPL, that is probably a very big question mark as well. So let's see that we can handle the number in June as we plan, and then when it's come to the second quarter release, you can see better picture, and we can probably guide you towards the year end.
Okay. how many customers have applied to get help in terms of interest rate cut?
I think you mean the installment loan that we offer for 48 months at the rate of 12 and 22% accordingly. We open up for those people who would like to apply, can apply the loan starting from April 20th until end of June. Up until now, there's around I think but a bit lesser than 30,000 people, and I think the amount of the portfolio is around 250 million, probably less than 0.5% of the portfolio. So that won't affect our portfolio that much, and even not affect the NIM.
Okay. And when do you expect to be back at the pre-COVID normalized level for NPL and for the card spending?
Well, I wish I know. Let's see what our spending. Start off with the spending. We see a very better spending growth in May in comparing to April. For the 9 months, for the 9th day of June, the number grows nicely as well. So if we wait until the end of the month, then we probably see how soon we see a better picture how soon we can get back to normal in terms of spending. Or whether or not it would go back to normal at all. Then what is the next one?
What distinguishes you from the rest of your competitions?
I think we approach different in terms of credit card. We approach different segment from other friends. Maybe in most of the segment competing with the commercial bank rather than non-bank. In terms of loan, I think we are targeted to only mostly over 90% of the loan portfolio and also the credit card portfolio are all white collar. We barely have any daily wages people in our portfolio, and entrepreneur and SME is probably less than 5% of our portfolio as well. So besides that, is the brand image, is the way of promotion, and is the way to impress or created the experience with the customer that make us different to our friends as well.
Nice. Are there any questions? We still have times left. I think that's it for today.
I think so.
Okay, so thank you very much, and we see you again for the next quarter. Thank you.
Thank you.